Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto channel. I ain't really sure what to call this video. We've got this 03 Hemi Dodge Ram here. It's got the 5.7 liter, it's a 2500. It's one that came in the other day with the heater core that went bad, and it had the heater box that was all chewed up, and it had the aftermarket remote starter put in it. And it really set my day behind because somebody pulled this little number on the heater box. That hole and this hole, it's not supposed to be there. But evidently you can buy this kit from Dorman, and it comes, and I buy their blend doors because they kind of, as much as I hate Dorman, they do an okay job on the blend door, but evidently the way they want you to install it is to do this. They want you to take the heater box, and they say to use a Dremel tool and just destroy it, and then they give you, wait till you see this, they give you packets of foil tape, and supposedly you're supposed to take this foil tape, you unravel it, and then you tape up the box, and then you're supposed to go home and have a feeling of satisfaction, whoa, sorry, man, that you did the job well, when indeed all you did is destroy. This is $172 for this half and $172 for the lower half. So you destroy over $300 worth of parts in an effort to save money. So anyhow, I've got some new stuff here, and we're gonna put it back together and get this thing blowing cold air out the AC and hot air out the heater, hopefully. All right, so I started assembling it before I didn't show the disassembly procedure, but you got your AC evaporator here, you got your heater core here. Now, both of these are aftermarket. These are both made by Spectra, and they make a good quality, a good fitting product, in my opinion, for aftermarket. And I guess I have to clarify some stuff. You know, a few viewers questioned me on my my hatred for aftermarket stuff, and I don't mean it like aftermarket parts. Yes, some aftermarket parts are garbage. Some are good, some are improved, some are cheap. It's the aftermarket add-on, you know, when this thing comes in and it's got, you know, turbo timers and gauges and switches and, you know, just this big spaghetti mess of wires just ran everywhere. That's the stuff I don't like because it interferes with just trying to do a normal job. And not saying that everybody does, you know, a terrible job. There may be some wonderful installs that I've never even seen. And if that's the case, that's great. That's the way it should be. But you know, in this case, this thing was weaved through this whole dash, and you couldn't take anything apart, and it was a disaster. So, and it was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back that day. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to clarify that. It's not a hatred for aftermarket parts. It's just these add-on accessories where it's just a mess. Okay, so back to the heater box. So there's, I should have saved the blend doors. I mean, I've got like, so this is the recirculation door. This is the factory Mopar one. What tends to happen is the pieces that go into them, they're keywayed slightly. And what they'll do is they'll either crack the door, like right up here, they'll split this open, or it will actually, it'll just strip out the insides, and then it doesn't allow the doors to open and close. In this case, you know, these things were completely saturated from the leaky heater core. And broke. Some of these were actually stripped right out. This one wasn't. This one is just completely saturated. This is the little circus that somebody made. This looks like some kind of homemade unit somebody put together. You can see where it's been kind of, you know, welded. It's got some foam put on it. And this is the flap that they made, you know, with some key stock and some crimping and a roll pin. I don't know, maybe this is a bond thing. I don't know. This thing's a joke, really. I mean, it's super heavy. Of course, the little motor's puking its guts out to make it work. And this is what they did to install it. They chopped all this apart, evidently, so they could, like, I don't know, shove it through here in some fashion, you know, to get it in there. Anyhow, it's this thing. Kind of crazy, in my opinion. But Dorman actually makes that flap there, and, you know, that replaces that homemade jobby. They make the flap that goes here for the recirculation door, and that one works well. They also make this blend door here, what is it, the upper blend door, it's just like that metal one. Just a minute, sweetie. It's just like that metal one, and that one works well. And what Dorman does is, instead of having a plastic, like this white plastic drive unit, they've actually they've updated it. They've got a metal one, or a metal keyway, or whatever it is you want to call it, that goes in there, and that's pretty helpful, because that's one of the failure points are these metal keyways, I guess you could call them. And with that being said, whatever it was I just said, Dorman does not make, or they do make, these little blend doors here. The ones that they do make these, and they're the cheapest ones they make, they're like $20-some, but they're absolute crap. Do not buy these blend doors from Dorman. This one here, there's this upper one here, and there's one that goes in this lower case, wherever that is. Oh, I got it stuck on here. Oops, whoa! That's there, we got a new one. There's your doors that go here that change your temperature. The ones that Dorman makes, they're crap. So definitely get the OEM ones for that, but you can use the other 3 doors from Dorman and they'll work good. So I got these from Chrysler. We're gonna throw these in, get this box together, stuff it back in, and get this thing out of here. It's been plugging in my bay for a couple days now, waiting for parts. Hopefully they're right. All right, so these are the new updated doors. They're supposed to be. We should have these little white pins. Kind of lock them in. We should have a couple door linkages. These are different. I believe these door linkages are different. Let's see, that looks like the right one there. Transfer apart. A lot of times the reason you have to change these is when you take them out. Well, this one didn't break. It's got those little 3 fingers that hold it in the box. Usually they break when you're trying to take them out. So that's why we buy them new. These only go in one way. Well, the door can go in a couple ways, but the linkage here, once you put it in and you snap it in, they're a real pain to take back out, if you have to take them back out. So make sure you got it how you want it. And that's how that works. Snap that back in the box. They're pretty self-explanatory once you get the heater box out of the vehicle. Pretty straightforward fix here. It's like that, we did that HVAC box in the, that Grand Caravan or something we did, wasn't it? And had like the, 500,000 screws holding the thing together. These are kind of similar, so they got a lot of screws, a lot of clips. So there's that half of the little deal here. And we got this one here. Now, you can see this, this blend door, mode door, whatever you want to call it, works. I can see somebody's been here before because this has got one of the little fingers off this black thing. This black linkage is broken. Let me grab a screwdriver. Well, let's see here. We'll take and that sucker popped out of there. Of course, now all the fingers are broke off it, so that's what a broken one looks like. Because I just popped it out, because I don't care if it breaks. And this one came out, and it didn't break. But let's see. And I just got more parts and pieces, I guess. Alright, well, I'm going to get this popped together in the same fashion. Get this heater box all put back together, which I've got it most of the way put together anyways. Like I said, I didn't anticipate on doing a video, but several people expressed interest in it. And what the heck. We'll do what we can. I don't know what to name it. I can't really call it the old, the full, it's not the full blown, job, but I think you'll get the gist of it anyways. So this is a piece we're just putting together here. And this is going to be your temperature blend door. So remember, we put the one underneath the heater core down there. There's a linkage that runs up the side of this box. That when this piece is inserted into the upper half of the HVAC box here, it'll sit on here, kind of in that fashion there. And what it will do is, when you change from hot to cold, it's either going to direct the air through the evaporator, through the heater core, and then it's going to distribute it out your ducts depending on where this flap and the upper flap is, okay? Whether it's going to come out the vent or the floor. And then when you, so let's say you want this AC, when you turn your AC on, it's going to block the heater core. It's going to take the air from the, from the fan here, whether it's going to be fresh air or recirculated air, pull it through the fan, through the condenser. It's going to bypass the heater core straight out the bottom. All the cold air is going to come here, what you feel is cold air, and then it's going to be distributed either out the floor, out the defrost, or out the vents, depending on the orientation of these here. So that's just kind of the 5-minute lesson on that. Alright, so what we will do, we'll take our upper housing here, put the piece we just put together, get that kind of lined up in the grooves. Yeah, these case halves are pretty expensive. Usually, you only have to buy the lower half. They have a service bolt in it that you replace the lower half, and of course, the blend doors. You can see once this is in the housing how that opens and closes. We've got another one here. I can't flip this one because I've already got the actuator hooked to it. And what we will do is we'll take this. Start sliding it together. On the other side here, there's a wire sticking out, and that is for the evaporator temperature sensor. You got to make sure that's in the evaporator. Make sure there's a little notch where you got to run the wire out, and then you just you've got to line everything up. You got the pipes here on the heater core. You got to get those lined up. They move, of course, and you kind of got to get everything all situated. There is some guide pins along the way. You got to keep in mind you're pushing around the, on the evaporator there, you've got all that new foam. So you're kind of pushing around that. I guess the only thing I would caution you on is don't use a cheap evaporator, cheap heater core. You'll be disappointed if it doesn't fit in the box correctly. If you doubt the aftermarket stuff, just buy an OEM one. It's the best advice I could give you. This is already going to be a very expensive job. Just because we had to buy the, the box halves, which, we knew nothing about until we tore it apart, so. Okay, now we gotta start putting the screws to it. But before we put the screws to it, I think I made a mistake. I think my heater core is upside down. Let me set this up, knock this over. It's gonna feel kind of silly if it says this side up on it. like the way the hoses were lining up. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little better. I'm surprised they don't label that. Oh well. Aftermarket junk. Oh. I'm going to get this kind of, you got to get the foam back down in the box so it seals up nice. And then we'll stick that lid back on and see if that fits a little better. It's just there's a metal strap, so a metal strap here that holds these tubes still, and it didn't appear to be lining up correctly from what I remember taking it apart. So I want to make sure that we've got it right. I mean, it would have worked, but both the pipes are the same size, so it wouldn't have been an issue of hooking up the hose, but it's a whole lot easier right now to see if we did it right or wrong before we put the screws to it. So it looks like now they're fitting up in there nicer. So before, this pipe was down like a ½ inch. It was down here towards the bottom. I didn't think that was right, but yeah, it looks good now. I can feel I got a little bit of resistance here. I can feel it pushing back. You know, of course, we got the new foam, an evaporator. We got the new foam, around the heater core here. It definitely feels better. Okay, now we can put the screws to it. The other thing is too, the actuators they use are all the same, so you can't really screw those up. Kind of a good thing. The other good thing is all the screws they use are the same, so you can't screw those up. The only ones that are different are the ones on the blower motor. They use a Torx bit or like an 8mm, if I remember right. And there's plenty of them that hold this box together. So you got all these screws, and then the tin clip that's going to go on the front of those heater core hoses. We'll get those put on, or get these put on. Just make sure everything's lined up before you do it, because this is it. The screws are going to go in with a little bit of resistance at first because, well, if your box is new, this box is new, there's no threads cut in it. So you're kind of making them for the first time, so make sure your screws are good and straight. And that's it. Once you get all done with that, should have a couple foam pieces here. You can buy these, I shouldn't say that. Some of these you can't buy new. There was a few foam pieces on here that were not available from Chrysler. They'd already been discontinued. I think back in, I don't know, probably the first one of these I did was a long time ago, maybe 07, somewhere around there. If I remember right, at that point, the foam stuff was discontinued too, some of these foam pieces. So you either have to buy some foam at the hardware store, or be very careful and reuse it. You cut off with a razor blade, put some spray adhesive on it, and you can stick it back on. Pretty important that you have it. It does seal the different components. So definitely try not to destroy that. This stud and this stud have to be transferred off the old box. They just kind of pop out of there. That's about it. Alright, so one question you might have, once you get the box all assembled is, The other way to find out if it works is to, is to put it in and plug it in. And speaking of plugging in, we got to put the wiring harness back on it. But I think we can actually you can run down through it and do the testing on it before before you go through the time and effort to get it all put in and put together. So what I'll do is I'll get the wiring harness all run across the side. Of course, you would have seen us taking this apart. There's little clips the wiring harness runs in. So we'll kind of get that fed down through there. I think what we can do is power up the blower. With a jumper pack, we'll use a power probe. These are only 2-wire actuators, so they're just a DC motor forward and backwards. We should be able to watch our flaps open and close. We should be able to change it from vent to defrost to floor, hot to cold, and turn the recirculation door on and off. Make sure that works. So we're just going to take our jump pack. And we're going to take our positive lead here. And everything's plugged in. We can do everything right from this connector. We just got to find our blower motor colors. We don't even need a wire diagram. We can look. Our resistor is labeled high, medium 1, medium 2, and low. And it looks like high is the black, a big heavy black with a tan. And blower motor positive must be that green. So what we'll do is we'll find those in this connector. We'll supply full power to it. And I don't know their polarity. Probably the green is power because the resistor is probably the ground. We'll find out. If you have it backwards, it's no big deal. It's just gonna spin the motor backwards. Probably should be using a fused jump wire, to be honest with you. We'll hook that up. Okay, so I was right. The green is the power. Black is the ground. That's our blower motor. Now we can see that works. And now you can use, I don't know if I pulled this out of the museum here. I don't know if many people remember this, but this is the Power Probe 1. It's an old school tool. It works well for jobs like these. So it looks like our blue, we got a blue and a white. Blue and the white, so blue and the white is the common amongst the actuators. Well, no, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Well, yeah, well, because it's gotta drive it both ways. So let's see here. So we're gonna go blue with white. Just gonna hook my ground to it, and then the white up here on this recirculation door is gray with a blue stripe, so we'll find that one. Gray with blue. It's down here towards the bottom. We can see that drove the recirculation door all the way open. Turn this so you guys can see it. And that tells us our actuator is good. So I'll turn the blower on, and then we'll I'll run that shut the opposite way here. White, blue, white, should be right. Turn the blower on and we should be able to hear the change in sound, plus see the door go shut. Door's always shut. We're now drawing outside air. It's blowing it out in the defrost over here. So that proves that actuator is good. So we'll just leave that door shut. Oops, unhook the getting trigger happy here. So that door works. We can test this door here. This is our hot to cold. This is the one with the linkage on it, so we'll actually physically see this one move. That one is blue with the orange stripe. So we'll get on our common down here. Orange is over here. So we should be able to watch this linkage here. I'm not sure what position it's in right now. We see that go all the way down. Now we'll reverse the polarity on it. Let me kick the blower on. We should be able to hear this. So we hear it change tone. Plus we see the linkage with the flaps up. We should be running, let's see if that flap is up. There it goes through the heater core. Got the heater core open, so we should be in the hot setting now. And then we got our two actuators down here. This one's going to control our defroster. Right now it's in the full defrost position. You know, the flap's open. So I'm going to turn the blower on. I'm going to actuate the actuator. It should go closed all the way and close the defrost vent off is the plan. See, it fully closed it. Hope you can see on the video, but the door came up and closed. So now we're out right here. All the air is coming out this hole. That should be the panels. We'll actuate that actuator, and that's going to change from the panels. Turn this off so you can hear me. That's going to change. Oops. That's going to change from the panels to the floor. Is what that should change, is from the footwell to the vents out the dash. And this one we can't really see, but we can probably put a little piece of paper or something up here. There we go. There's that. Turn the blower on. Let's see. You just stick a screwdriver here. That should hold that. I'm gonna move the footwell actuator now. And we can see, I think you can see that. We can see that the doors, they don't seal 100%. It's just foam. The airflow is cut down, greatly, but not 100%. Let me get a flashlight, see if we can see down in here. All right, so that's looking down in there. It's kind of a hard demonstration with the cloth. It doesn't cut the airflow down really enough to, still obviously moves a piece of cloth quite easily. Let me actuate it here for you. There, you should have been able to see that in the fully open position now, so hopefully you caught that on camera. And that changes now, going from the footwell, allows the airflow to the panels, to your panel vents. Well, that may not have been the best demonstration, but I kind of wish now I would have recorded this, taking it out, but it'd be like a 6-part series with the remote start and all that stuff. Plus this thing has a lot of other aftermarket, it's got a snowplow, it's got a sander, it's got a brake controller, it's a lot of crap under the dash. If I get one of these in where it's stock, where it's stock, I think I'll do one. And of course this winter, these things come in all the time because we go from AC season to I got no heat season. Power Probe 1. There's a relic. I don't even know when they came out with this thing. I found it at the bottom of my toolbox. I was like, I can use that. Because all I've got now, I've got this, and I think I got the hook and another Power Probe, the 2 or the 3 or 4 or something like that. But I still like this one. It's small and nimble. Every time they make them, pretty soon it'll be like this thing. Probe. You're like, well, let me check that for you. They keep getting bigger and bigger and less handy. These small ones are handy. I don't use the Power Probe a lot. I'm a test light guy. Okay, let's put this junker back in. Alright, so these aren't too bad to line up. You've got a couple things, obviously your heater hoses, got your AC, there's 2 studs, there's a stud here and a stud there, and then you got your drain hose for your HVAC, and then there's these couple, you'll see these couple green things up here, these green studs. it lines up on. So you just kind of gotta get it where it needs to be, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, not much to it. So on the inside, you've got a couple nuts. We'll put these on, and then you got the one stud down here on the floor, or the bolt. Ow, dang it. And they're lined up. And then the two studs that run through outside, you don't have to worry about anything there. Just got to put nuts on them. So get them all torqued to factory spec. You've got your electrical connector that comes over here on the passenger side footwell. Get that hooked back up on that tab. That's where that goes. So that's pretty much all there is to the heater box. You know, naturally, if you were, taking it out, which I didn't show, you're going to just basically do the procedure backwards. You know, you got to unhook the heater hoses and AC lines, obviously. So we'll go under the hood. We'll do that. Tape. I can't believe this. Still can't believe this. So we come under the hood. I got old Kender Natalie down here just barking. I don't know how many HPs this baby adds, but I'm going to polish it to get the most out of it we can. In any case, you can see your AC lines poking through there. Our heater hoses, well, I don't know if we can see them or not. Yep, there they are. There's our two heater hoses poking through from our heater core. And then you have to remove the computer. So the computer is just hanging here. I didn't bother unplugging it. And the reason you have to remove that is to get to the two studs that come through the firewall. So right down there by your AC, let me see if I can orient myself here. You've got that one stud right there. That's part of the heater box. And then the reason you have to take the computer out is because you've got this other one. Let's see, get it focused there, right there. That's directly behind the computer. They can be kind of a stinker if you don't know they're there, because you'll accidentally break them off. I'm going to take and hook those back up. I just kind of want to show you where I was going to be. I think if you read the factory manual, I don't know if it tells you to take these two out. I think you kind of got to discover these on your own. So get them all torqued to spec, and then there's three long screws that hold the PCM on. We'll need an 8mm socket for those. Here comes the meat wagon. That bottom bolt on PCM is kind of a pain. I might have to use old-fashioned tools. Let's see here. Oh, there she is. Got an 8mm and a wobble. I thought I could get a hold of it. Dang it. No. One more try and get underneath this AC line here. There we go, now we're in business. Yeah, she was perfect. Alright, then in this case, I had to get a new, brand new accumulator because I struggled with this thing for a long while, longer than I should have, trying to unhook the accumulator from the evaporator. And I just couldn't get it. It's got one of those, these spring-style quick disconnects. And I had the disconnect tool in there, and I'm spraying a coil and tapping on it. Finally got to where I thought it was moving. I'm pulling and moving, and finally she come loose, and all it did is break the end off the evaporator. So we had to get a new accumulator. It was all super corroded anyways, but if I knew that was going to happen, I'd have just cut the thing off with a cutoff wheel. But so we got a new hose, new accumulator. I'm going to take and it's got a couple 10mm bolts in it here, or 10mm 10mm socket. Actually, what, 6mm bolt, I guess it would be technically. And we're going to stick that back in its bracket. It's slotted, so we don't have to take these out all the way. Just going to loosen them up. I'm going to lube up the O-rings on it, and we're going to click it back into our the thing there we put in the dash, the little donger there. Evaporator core, man, it's almost 5 o'clock. I'm not real good with the words. And then we'll hook up our other AC line, hook up the pressure line. All right, guess I better get some lube. There we go. I think we're all right. I might have to take the bolts all the way out. Sometimes you gotta kind of line everything up all at once, and it makes it a little difficult. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's more important that we get a good seal in the evaporator, because this thing's all aluminum. You know, these lines could be slightly tweaked. You know, we might have to put it in, tweak it straight where we need it, and then put the bolts back in the bracket. That'd be the smartest thing to do. There we go. Oh yeah, this thing really needs to be tweaked. I think I can just bend this line a little bit if I can. Which I can. See if I can squeeze it a little tighter. I'll leave that a pisser. Alright, well, that's kind of a pain. Gotta bend this a little bit. There she goes. That's better, I think. I bend it the wrong way. I bend it the wrong way, big dummy. Try that. Needs to be bent a little bit more. I don't want to bend it while it's inside there because I don't want to deform the hole. Come on. Boy, it's got to be a 45-minute video of just tweaking this hose to make it perfect. There we go. A bit more. Click, did it? Did you hear it click? Well, I can't pull it off, so it must have clicked. Now we can do our final tweaking. Let me plug in the other line before we get any dirt on anything. That one did not click. Come on. Kind of an awkward position here. Beautiful. Okay, so we got the accumulator in. I got both hoses hooked up. So I guess it would be the pressure hose that hooks to the evaporator there. That was kind of a pisser. I had to actually change the spring lock in it. I mean, the spring lock felt good and everything. I mean, the thing still moves. It's not seized up. I cannot get that to lock on there, so we grabbed one out of our AC kit. I replaced that, and that went well. But boy, that was a real treat trying to get that on there. It's kind of in a spot where you don't want to, you really don't want to push in on it. So you got to kind of hold it with some pliers, and we got it. That's all that matters. Accumulator's on there. We'll keep moving forward here. It's got these locks. They go over top of the AC hoses just in case that spring lock fails. I'm just going to take and click those back over there. The black one goes on the suction side. The gray one goes on the discharge, or the pressure side there. Put those on. We'll hook up our heater core hoses. We don't have to flush this system out. It's had plenty of coolant put in it in the past while, I guess, for as bad as that was leaking. I guess the radiator was leaking, and somebody's already filled this thing up with green coolant, so that's what we're going to put back in it. And we don't have to worry about using the factory Mopar coolant. So I'm just going to get these heater hoses hooked back up their way up under there, and I'll show you the finished product when I'm all done. So we're just going to have a recap. Just kind of let you know where we're at here, in case you're taking one of these apart. So we got the heater core hoses. They're back on right up under there under the firewall. Not much that has to be taken off under the hood. Probably a good idea to unhook your battery if you choose to. Like I said, on this one we did replace this suction hose here on the compressor that goes over to the accumulator, which we already talked about. That hooks to your evaporator, which is sticking out of the dash there, which we got those two safety locks back on. Got that reattached, and you know, again, like I say, the PCM that kind of hides down in there, wherever it is. You know, we had to take that out. You can just see the 3 connectors on it there, or 4 connectors, I guess. You do have to kind of just take the 3 bolts out of that to get to the 2 nuts that are behind it, and that's pretty much all you have to do under the hood. It's pretty easy from there. So this here is where we're going to leave off. Got the AC machine hooked to it, pulling a vacuum on the system. You know, dash and stuff is obviously still out at this point. It'd be really nice to know if we had a leak, particularly if it was on the inside. You know, with that new evaporator or something, you know, prior to putting the dash together. So I believe, in my opinion, that this is the next best step. Got the heater core hoses all hooked up. Going to fill it up with coolant. Just, you know, quickly throw some pressure on it. You know, make sure we don't see anything, you know, peeing in there. You know, we shouldn't. Everything should be cool. It's all brand new, but just because it's new doesn't mean it's good. Those heater cores, if you've seen when I flipped it in, because I did it upside down, that you can move those pipes. Well, those pipes are sealed by O-rings, and you know, there's always that potential problem, whether it's, you know, new OEM or new aftermarket, or even you're taking the old used one out and putting it back in, you know, because you're fixing a blend door, or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's a whole lot easier to fix the problem right now than it is when the dash is back in. So we got about a minute left on the vacuum. I'll let it sit there and hold for 15-20 minutes. Make sure that's good. Shoot a couple ounces of oil in it, because we changed the line there, we changed the accumulator, and that'll make up for the loss there. We'll throw a charge on it, and it's about 5 minutes to 5, so I'll say sayonara. We'll sign off on this portion of the Dodge dash reassembly. I don't know, so I haven't determined what to call the video yet, but I'm sure at this point it already has a title. I just hope it's helpful to somebody at some point. If you don't know how to take it apart, you just take this video, play it backwards, and that'll be the disassembly procedure. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. One more thing, just real quick. I've got the AC all charged up there. It held vacuum, threw a quick charge on it, a little bit of oil. I don't hear anything, so that's good. None of the hoses blew right off. But I mentioned too that you know, I was going to fill the cooling system, which I did, and you know, just kind of throw some pressure on that, double check there's no leaks. Easiest way to do that, and I'm just going to mention this, because the cap, you know, on a regular conventional radiator, you know, regular radiator style cap here, with whether it has an overflow jug or just vents out to the atmosphere like this one does, in either case it has to allow room for expansion. The cap has a negative side to it. The bottom of the cap opens up here just like that, and that's what either allows, you know, gas back into the system, or it'll pull coolant out of your overflow tank, and, you know, allow for expansion and contraction of fluids as it heats and cools. Easiest way to take and you know, put pressure on it. Right now, you know, the hoses are limp. You know, you can feel there's no pressure behind it. So you can just simply take your blow nozzle, unhook your overflow, stick your rubber tip blow nozzle in there and give it a blast. You can see the hoses. Well, you have to take my word for it, you can't see it, but there is system pressure, because you can hear it if I open it up like that. Bleeds off the pressure. Give it a little more. There you go. Now we can just look for leaks. If you exceeded 16 pounds, what would happen is, you know, the cap would pop open and the pressure would blast off. So. It's quick and dirty, but it's the fastest way to test a cooling system if you're not concerned about, you know, is it 15 pounds in there, or how fast of a decay is it? This is just basically, are my hoses leaking? You know, yes or no. Take a blow nozzle, psh, it's got pressure in the system. You know, where's my leak? But if you were trying to test for, you know, will it hold 10 pounds for, you know, X amount of minutes, then this may not be the best method in that case. But this is just what I do sometimes if, you know, changing water pumps, doing something, you just want to know, does it leak, doesn't it? Psh, there you go, you're done. For real this time, that's it. Thanks for watching.